We are still a few weeks away from WrestleMania 39 on April 1 and 2. So WWE is still going through the motions to set up the entire card. Last night's show featured a face-to-face confrontation between Omos and the man he will battle at the marquee pay-per-view, Brock Lesnar. We also saw Bianca Belair face Chelsea Green for the first time. Elias fought Bronson Reed, and Dexter Lumis teamed up with Johnny Gargano to take on the Judgment Day's Dominic Mysterio and Damian Priest. Let's take a look at everything that happened on last night's show, for this is Ridiculously Raw. Welcome everybody to this very special edition of Ridiculously Raw, this very special Tuesday edition of Ridiculously Raw. I am your host, Anthony Florio, and I am joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher and the Phenom Michael Bullock. Of course, we did not have a show last night. Reason being, the three of us took in Monday Night Raw last night, and we got in very late, and it was way too late to do a show. So here we are, right here and now. So, without any further ado, gentlemen, let's dive it on in. Of course, we'll still do it as we usually do it. As far as times of the bouts go, but we're gonna give it. Our analysis. As we saw it in the arena, not on TV. So with that being said, let's dive right on in. Monday Night Raw last night, live from the Amica Mutual Pavilion, formerly the Dunkin' Donuts Center and Providence Civic Center in Providence, Rhode Island, on the USA Network. Monday Night Raw, episode number 1,555. How about that? And we started it off with an in-ring segment. What a way to jump it off. WWE Hall of Famer, the Rated R Superstar Edge. This was the confrontation with Finn Balor. He called out Finn Balor. There was Finn Balor along with the rest of Judgment Day. And Edge, cutting the promo saying, this has been going on for about a year now. Finn, you made Judgment Day better, but you know what? I'm done with this, and I want to be done with this. You want a match with me at WrestleMania? You got it. But it's not going to be a regular match. It's going to be Edge versus Finn Balor at WrestleMania inside Hell in a Cell. Whoa, Nelly. Okay. Great way to start the show. I mean, an old review that I used to read always had biggest pops and the whole not who had the biggest pops and who had the most heat. Well, they would usually list a top three. As far as pops go last night, Edge was definitely in that top three. Oh my goodness, what a pop when he showed up. His entrance is amazing live, and we'll talk about another entrance that's just as amazing live in just a little bit. But this feud has definitely run its course, but I love the idea of making this a Hell in a Cell match. And it creates the feeling that this is finally going to put this whole feud to an end, and then both of these guys can move on to hopefully bigger and better things after WrestleMania. And a 2-for-1 deal came out of this because it led into that tag team match with Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis squaring off against Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio. Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio win the match in 14 minutes and 5 seconds. It was definitely longer in the arena because of the commercial break, obviously. So, we could go as far as to call this the sleeper fight of the night here. I mean, we thought it was going to be solid, not overly spectacular, but for a match that began as a big brawl, this was surprisingly tame in terms of bell-to-bell action, and we didn't see a ton of cheating or double team moves. They kept it pretty basic at first. The shenanigans outside the ring came during the second half when Rhea Ripley decided to interject herself along with Candice LeRae. The longer this match went, the more chaotic it became. And after a pretty solid match, Damian Priest scored the win for his team by pinning Dexter Lumis with the South of Heaven chokeslam. Edge calling each character of the Judgment Day a different Addams Family character name was funnier than it should have been. Candice LeRae being at ringside for this bout could be setting up a future encounter between her and Rhea Ripley, which would be a great match if they ever did it. The boos and the heat Don was getting during the Three Amigos seemed fake. Crowd didn't appear to react, but it sounded like he was being booed out of the building, and he was being booed out of the building because, piped in crowd noise on TV, as we all know. But we were there. That was not piped in crowd noise. That was the real thing. And Gargano's slingshot spear is one of those moves that doesn't always look good, but when it does, it's amazing. So, great way to start it off. I will give this about somewhere in excess of maybe 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. And I could go as far as maybe to call it the sleeper fight of the night, maybe the fight of the night, based on the body of work. I mean, we weren't really expecting, something really awesome, but boy, howdy, this ended up surprising the hell out of us because it got a lot more time than we initially thought it would. We were thinking 10 minutes tops, but to get almost 15, according to TV, but it felt probably more around 17 or 18 in the arena. So a great way to start it off with the match announcement and this surprisingly great match. So not much more to say here. So good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. Let's break it down. This big tag team matchup here. Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio defeating Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis, 14 minutes and 5 seconds. But of course, what a way to jump it off with the big announcement: Edge, Finn Balor, WrestleMania 39, SoFi. Hell in a Cell is coming to SoFi. Whoa.
Yeah, it's coming to SoFi. It's gonna be an incredible match. Look, you said it. The energy in the building was electric. The minute Edge came out, that was an amazing pop. It was loud. It was amazing for him to come out. So yeah, it was awesome. And he didn't make much words. He wanted Finn Balor out. Sure enough, they came out, and I think they really did an incredible job with it. The story was well done, and yeah, it was exactly what it needed it to be. I think that's the best way to say it. So I got really nothing more to say. This was awesome. This was amazing, and yeah. So 3.5 stars is the rating that I would have given it. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Man, all I can say is what a way to jump it off last night. I mean, with the Rated R Superstar, I mean, as soon as the music hit, I mean, that crowd was just popping like crazy. I've been to WWE events for a long time. I've heard some big time pops, but this one, to me, it's got to rank right up there. I mean, it's like when you hear that music of Edge, it really gets the crowd going big time, and Providence definitely brought it. And you saw in that promo when Edge started it, he acknowledged the people of Providence. I mean, for bringing that energy, and then immediately calling Finn Balor out, and he didn't want him just in a regular match at WrestleMania. He wanted him inside the Devil's Playground, Hell in a Cell. So for the first time in a while, Hell in a Cell is coming to WrestleMania. And I can only imagine what that's going to be like at SoFi Stadium with that demonic structure hanging at SoFi Stadium. And I'm going to test you guys out. When was the last time Hell in a Cell was at WrestleMania?
Got to go back to WrestleMania 32.
Yeah.
Your man, The Undertaker, against Shane McMahon, a match that had you, Bullock, very conflicted, if I recall.
Exactly. And so it has been 7 long years since WrestleMania last saw Hell in a Cell. So, because we've had the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, and of course that no longer exists now. So now, because of that, we get Hell in a Cell at any pay-per-view, and what better way to bring it back than at WrestleMania? And you know, feuds end in this demonic structure. And
They do.
you forgot another thing to mention when Finn Balor did his promo.
Oh, that's right. He suggests he
He mentioned
the big tease.
He mentioned something about bringing out a demon. Could this be where we get the return for the first time in
Extreme Rules 2021?
Yeah, first time in about a year and a half. Could the Demon King make his return? I'm going to say yes. Because
that entrance at WrestleMania.
Especially. Yeah, can you imagine what that's going to be like?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I mean, I would say yes. I mean, why would Finn Balor even bring it up? So, wow. Yeah, I mean, I cannot wait for this match. And as far as the tag team match goes, I'm going to say 3.5, 3 3/4 because, hello, look who was in that ring as well, along with Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio. Johnny Wrestling, hello. You know he's bound to have a good match, and the thing that really intrigues me, I mean, the stare down with Dexter Lumis and Rhea Ripley. You would think many people, guys, were intimidated by the stare of Dexter Lumis. Not the case with Rhea Ripley. She didn't seem intimidated at all.
No.
I mean, I gotta ask you guys, who in the right mind is gonna intimidate Rhea Ripley?
Nobody.
There's not that many that actually would. Yeah.
Well, I beg to differ. There is one person, well, a certain Hall of Famer, who would bring that kind of intimidation and fear into Rhea Ripley.
The Undertaker.
I don't know if Taker. I don't think she would be scared of Taker. She's kind of got that. I think she's got that dark attitude that I think she would relish it, actually. So no, I disagree. I don't think she would be intimidated by Taker.
Well, in the immortal words of the late great Gorilla Monsoon, I would certainly buy a ticket to see that.
I'd pay to see it too. We'd pay to see it too.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously the outcome to me was never in doubt, but Johnny and Dexter Lumis definitely gave them one heck of an effort, but you knew the Judgment Day was going to go over. So 3.5, 3 3/4. So a great way to start off with this promo and this tag team match. So nothing more to say. Let's move on, Florio.
And this will only be the 4th Hell in a Cell match in WrestleMania history. The other 3 all involved Michael Bullock's man, The Undertaker. All the other 3. It was WrestleMania 15 when The Undertaker squared off against the Big Boss Man. What many people are considering the worst Hell in a Cell match ever. I'm inclined to agree on that. And then we wouldn't see it again until what many are calling the greatest Hell in a Cell match of all time, including us. And not only that, but the greatest match in WrestleMania history. The end of an era Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania 28. The Undertaker and Triple H. Shawn Michaels as the guest referee. And then, of course, the last time we saw it, WrestleMania 32 in Jerry World. The Undertaker and Shane O'Mac. And that match had Michael Bullock conflicted because, we all know how much Bullock loves The Undertaker, but at the same time, he was also rooting for Shane McMahon in that stipulation because he would have been given authority. He would have been given complete control of Monday Night Raw had he won that match. But The Undertaker went on to win that match. So only the 4th Hell in a Cell match in Mania history. And it's the first one to not feature The Undertaker. So we'll see what happens. Of course, Edge, wily veteran of Hell in a Cell. He's been in many of those before, including against The Undertaker, SummerSlam 2008. But of course, this will be the first time for Finn Balor. So we will preview that in a couple weeks. But for right now, let's move on. Speaking of WrestleMania, the WrestleMania match that none of us wanted, but we ended up getting anyway. We had a face-to-face with as we saw the Nigerian Giant Omos. Guys, we got to see Omos in person. I don't think TV does him justice. I mean, he is huge. Let us tell you that firsthand. Omos alongside of MVP, and then Brock Lesnar, another monster pop for the Beast, and yes, sir, and well, MF, we saw what happened. Brock Lesnar attempted to go for a suplex. He tried to go for Suplex City, but in the first physical exchange, the Nigerian Giant gets the best of the Beast. And when was the last time we saw anybody manhandle Lesnar like that? Probably since Big Show?
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've seen Lesnar got taken out like that, and it wasn't perfect. If you notice, it was a botch.
Yeah, big time botch.
It was a big time botch. So I think Lesnar was supposed to go clear out, but they did. If you notice when they did it later on in the evening, they cleaned it up for the fans. So they made it look like that was definitely more of what was supposed to happen more than anything else. So yeah, unfortunate. It was all right, but like even for me, it wasn't really anything to write home about. Yes, it served its purpose. Yes, it did what it needed it to do to set up for the match at Mania. But if anything, it kind of made us almost felt like I don't know. But I will say this: Lesnar got a monster pop. He comes out. The fans are loving it. Yeah, everybody's loving the Cowboy Brock more than anything else. So yeah, there's nothing more to say. Anthony, Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I mean, but yeah, I mean when Lesnar came out, he got that huge pop. I mean, everybody is loving the Cowboy Brock, and yeah, he tried to go for a suplex on Omos. That didn't work out, and like you said, the last time we saw Lesnar get tossed out like a rag doll was the Big Show prior to their match at the Royal Rumble in 2014. And I'm telling you guys, I mean, Brock Lesnar's faced some big men before, but I don't think he's ever faced someone like the Nigerian Giant in Omos. I mean, the big question here, guys, is will Lesnar be able to take Omos to Suplex City, or will he be even able to take him to F5 City? That's going to be a tall task for Lesnar, but let's not forget Lesnar's history at WrestleMania. I mean, he's had some moments in his career. I mean, he beat Kurt Angle for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 19. And, I mean, even though it pains for me to have to bring it up, WrestleMania 30, he did what no other man was able to do, and that's end the undefeated streak of The Undertaker. I mean, he defeated Dean Ambrose. He beat Goldberg to become the Universal Champion. He beat Roman Reigns. So he's had a good time at WrestleMania. So this is going to be a tough task for him. But if there's anybody who can conquer it, it's this man right here, Brock Lesnar. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah. Brock Lesnar has had many of WrestleMania moments, and why do I have the feeling he's gonna find a way to not only suplex Omos, but I got a feeling he's gonna find a way to F5 him too. I mean, that's just my gut. But obviously, the segment was not a blowaway segment, but and obviously the match does nothing for any of us. But the holy bleep chant was a good sign that a lot of fans viewed it as the spectacle that particular match is intended to be. All right. You want to talk about big pops? Well, here comes another one of the big pops of the night. The man who will be challenging Roman Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania for the Undisputed Universal Championship, the winner of the Royal Rumble match, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Another epic pop. Oh, wow, did he get a big pop? We got into that thing too. We sang along with the theme song, which is becoming the new norm for him nowadays, which is awesome. Cody Rhodes in a interpromotional matchup against Friday Night SmackDown's LA Knight. And Cody Rhodes wins the match in an even 10 minutes. And then from there, Cody got on the mic. He cut a post-match promo. And this post-match promo, I'm glad we were there for this. I mean, what a post-match promo. One reviewer that I found that I noticed on social media went on to say that was Cody's best promo since he came back, and I'm inclined to agree, because we felt that emotion after that post match promo, and he also made the announcement that the match with Roman will be on WrestleMania Sunday, April 2nd, and that should not come as a surprise to anyone, because we know that's going to be the main event of WrestleMania 39, and rightfully so. And there isn't much more to say on this. Michael Bullock, Cody Rhodes defeats LA Knight in an even 10 minutes. And on top of that, a fantastic post-match promo from Cody Rhodes. We were there. We felt that emotion right there with him. And after the promo that he cut, how can we not be rooting for this guy to walk out of WrestleMania as the undisputed WWE Universal Champion and finally end the reign of terror of the Tribal Chief?
Well, first off, for the match, I mean, I'll give it 2.5 to 3. I mean, I thought it was a good match here. I mean, obviously the outcome was never in doubt, but the post-match promo, I mean, I tend to agree too. That was probably Cody's best promo since he returned to WWE, and you could just feel the emotion. You could just feel the passion coming out of Cody Rhodes, feeling that he needs to dethrone the Tribal Chief. He needs to win this, not just for himself, but for the Rhodes legacy. I mean, the Rhodes family has never held a WWE World Title of any kind. Not Dusty Rhodes, not even Dustin Rhodes, aka Goldust, but Cody Rhodes has a chance to finally bring home a WWE World Title to the Rhodes family. And just think of what this man has gone through. I mean, his first go around in WWE was I don't know how you'd say it. I mean, it was sort of I mean, he had his moments, but it didn't really stand out that much. But he came back at WrestleMania last year, and he's become an ultimate fan favorite. And I'll even say it, he's a people person, because you see him giving away his traditional belt to fans, whether it's on a Raw or even at a house show, and you could just see the smile he brings to the faces of kids and to fans in general, especially when his entrance, everybody sings along with it. And with the way this promo came out tonight, how can you not root for Cody Rhodes? How can you not root for him to be the one to finally end this reign of terror of the Tribal Chief? I mean, I believe he will do it. I mean, I mean, it's his, and I'm going to use a word like this, it's his destiny to win the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, not just for himself, but for that Rhodes legacy. So, nothing more to say. It is yours, Florio.
Yeah. Solid 3 stars for the effort. This easily could have been booked to be a short match or even a squash match, but Cody Rhodes and LA Knight had a competitive bout that took up 2 segments. In fact, the latter had more near falls to his name. However, the American Nightmare put him away with Crossroads to win the match. The way LA Knight blocked the Tope Suicida with a big punch looked great. Cody stopped in his tracks and was draped over the middle rope like he was lifeless. LA Knight showed some impressive agility when he jumped straight to the top rope so he could hit a superplex. And the Cody Cutter either looks really good or really bad. There's little in between. I thought it looked just fine, from where we saw it. So I'm gonna give it a solid 3 for the effort, maybe even 3 and a quarter for that one. And that post match promo, I mean, I felt it. I mean, you know, I know there's some people that are out there that are saying, you know, give us a reason other than Dusty for him, to win this, to become the undisputed Universal Champion at WrestleMania. I mean, we all remember he came into WWE as a young man, as a young talent back in 2007. When he started out with Hardcore Holly, Bob Holly, and then later turned on him to be a part of one of the great factions in WWE history, the Legacy, or Priceless, with Randy Orton, Teddy DiBiase, and Manu, and he had some moments with that, and then of course dashing Cody Rhodes, MF, the fun I had, the fun I used to have with that gimmick, when that was running wild, and then back to being regular Cody Rhodes and with that facial mask, and then of course Stardust especially, and then leaving WWE for 6 years, and during that time became a big name on the indie scene, and of course being one of the many individuals who helped jumpstart All Elite Wrestling, AEW, alongside of the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and all them, and we had some moments down there, obviously, and now it's come full circle. I mean, we never thought he would ever come back to WWE, but last year, a year ago at WrestleMania, when he showed up as that mystery opponent to take on Seth frickin' Rollins, I mean, oh, full circle moment, and now we're going to be coming up to a year later, and he's got the biggest opportunity, the biggest match of his life. His biggest win all time was when he won the NWA Heavyweight Championship. That was his biggest win, when he knocked off Nick Aldis, Magnus. He wins this. It's far bigger. This is the biggest. This will be the win of a lifetime. And it's not just the interactions with the young fans and everything else, but the promos. I mean, the promos have been getting better and better, and last night just was even better. Was the best one he's cut yet. And it makes you root for him to win it all more and more and more. And that includes myself. I want to see him do this. I really, really do. And I am hopeful that he gets that WrestleMania moment like so many other Royal Rumble winners before him has. So many other men have gone on to not only won the Royal Rumble, but also went on to win the title at WrestleMania. I know the Rumble winner has not done that in the last couple of years. But I believe Drew McIntyre was the last to do it at 36. So I think we're due for another Royal Rumble winner title moment. And what a moment it will be if he should do it. And I'm with Bullock. I believe he will. So not much more for me to say on this. Three stars for the match, teetering on 3.25. Fantastic post-match promo. Not much more for me to say. MF, great match, and the best promo he's cut yet, and it makes you just root for him more and more and more with each great promo he keeps cutting.
Yeah, I think that's Cody's best strong suit is the promo. He's been doing this since even from the days of AEW and then everything else. But yeah, this was exactly what it needed it to be. And you even said it. I love how Cody talks about the personal thing, the personal effect, and how, like he really played that so well, to say the very least. So I thought it was done really well. I thought the that part of it was incredible. So there's really nothing more to add. So 3 stars for the match. Promo, like you guys said, probably his personal best, and that was the thing that really really stood out, not only to us but even to the fans. We all bought it, and he made us believe more than anything else. So yeah, Anthony, it's yours.
All right. We do have some cutouts here. We have our first cutout of the night. We didn't have that many cutouts, to be honest with you. I think we only have like 2 here, and this was one of them. Bronson Reed squaring off against Elias. Bronson Reed wins the match, 2 minutes and 10 seconds. We got to see the tsunami, gentlemen. So, yeah, that was a sight. But other than that, I'm sorry to say this was a dud. I think we're all in agreement on that. You can make an argument that this was the worst fight of the night. I'll sum it up simply by saying it was short. It made Bronson Reed look like a beast, but it was a little on the simple side. So there isn't much more to say on that. Then we had, then there were a lot of backstage stuff, and then finally we had our next matchup here. The United States Heavyweight Champion Austin Theory in a non-title match against Angelo Dawkins of the Street Profits. And Austin Theory wins the match, 9 minutes and 40 seconds. Another 3-star match. While they had spurts of quick offense, the pace of this was a little on the slow side. It was supposed to look like methodical offense from Theory, but it just ended up looking like they were waiting until it was time to hit the next move. And Angelo Dawkins continues to prove he should not be overlooked. He had the best moments in this match, although Theory still scored the win. And there are certain things every wrestler does really well. Austin Theory is one of those guys who has mastered the art of looking like a strike almost knocked him out. And this was a solid match here. So I'm going to give this 3 stars for the effort. And next Monday night on Raw in St. Louis, Montez Ford is going to get a shot at Austin Theory. So we'll see what happens when they go one-on-one in St. Louis next week. But nonetheless, 3 stars here. And MF, extracurricular activity after the match. We saw Theory going after Dawkins, and the 3 of us, along with everybody else in the amp, we were all thinking Cena, but we knew realistically he wasn't showing. But
No.
But they wanted it though.
Obviously, because if we would have saw John Cena not advertised and he shows up in Providence, Rhode Island, oh my God, that would have been huge.
Pop of the night.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, unfortunately it didn't happen, but it was fine for what it was worth. It was good for what we had. Like you said, about 2.5 to 3 would be my rating for it, and yeah. So we'll have to wait and see what happens next week. So, well, Lick, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll give it about 2.5 to 3 for the effort here. I mean, this was a fine match, but this definitely continues to build the momentum for Austin Theory heading into the biggest match of his career against John Cena at WrestleMania. And yeah, if John Cena showed up not advertised, that crowd in the amp definitely would have exploded in a good way. But that did not happen. So yeah, so now Austin Theory's got to deal with Montez Ford next week. So we'll see what happens with that. So nothing more to say. Let's move on.
Crowd would have lost their mind if Cena had showed up. We would have lost our mind if Cena had showed up. We would have done our legendary whoa and all that. But nonetheless, a lot of backstage stuff. And then, all right. This is another segment that definitely needs to be addressed here. The new Hall of Famer, Rey Mysterio. Of course, we all know last Friday night on SmackDown, it was announced that Rey Mysterio was going to be the first inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2023. And speaking of that, tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. as part of WWE The Bump on Peacock and YouTube and all that, the Nature Boy Ric Flair will be on the show to announce the next Hall of Fame inductee. And from what I'm hearing, it could be the Great Muta. So look out. That's all I'm going to say. So, but anyways, Ray comes out. He cuts a promo. Another massive pop. I mean, and we all did the "You Deserve It" chants, and we paid our respects to Ray, going into the Hall of Fame. Interrupted by Dominic Mysterio, who, let's be realistic, had more heat than anybody. Let's not kid ourselves. Theory was right there with him, but as far as who had the most heat, it was definitely Dom. No doubt about that. Yeah, the X-Pac go-away heat came to Providence last night. No doubt about that. And they had another they cut a promo, and then the seeds finally planted. Dominic finally laid down the challenge. He said, "Ray, I challenge you to a match at WrestleMania." And we're like, "Oh my God, are we going to get it? Are we going to get it?" And we were all there. We were even egging. We were egging Ray on. We were saying, "Come on, Ray. Come on, Ray. Make it official. Come on." Nope. Ray says, "I'm not going to fight you." And that was that. But MF, even though Dom had more heat than anybody, this was without a doubt. MF, I think we can all agree this was the segment of the night, as finally Dom issued the challenge to Ray. But Papa H and his long-term storytelling and booking continues to rear its head here.
Yeah, it does. It does. But the thing is that ultimately we're gonna get the payoff. I think Michael Bullock was talking about it in private, how he believes that it should be that might prompt Ray to finally fight at WrestleMania. Maybe Dom has to do something almost pure evil. Maybe attack him or interrupt his Hall of Fame induction ceremony. He might have to do something that drastic that would finally trigger Ray to say, "You know what? You've gone too far, and I'm gonna fight you at WrestleMania." It's gonna have to be someone like that, but at the end of the day, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But yeah, this was really good, really solid to say the very least. And like we said, definitely a keynote moment of the show, and without a doubt, segment of the night. So nothing more to say. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, this was definitely the segment of the night. I mean, Ray coming back to Raw, of course, talking about his Hall of Fame induction, only to be interrupted by Dominic Mysterio, who right now is that, I'm going to say right now, he is the best heel right now in WWE. I mean, I know the easy choice is Roman Reigns, and rightfully so, but nobody's garnered more heat than Dominic Mysterio right now. I mean, all the things he's done, especially to his own family, and yeah, he finally laid down the challenge to Ray for a match at WrestleMania. Ray's like, no, I continue to say it. I'm going to say it again. I will never fight my own son. And that's why I said it's going to take something for Dominic to do something even more despicable, more disgusting, to make Ray finally reach his breaking point. That's definitely one of them, with either attacking him or even attacking him at the Hall of Fame. But I'll even take it one step further. And guys, I've talked about it with you guys before. What if Dom sends his quote-unquote mommy over to the Mysterio household and she attacks Ray's wife, Angie, and Ray's daughter, Aaliyah?
That's a possibility, but I have also heard another idea that was pitched was for Dom to attack Ray during his Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and then
that's what I brought up.
Yeah, but that's the idea I was hearing pitched more.
Yeah, I heard about those too. I mean, either one of those things I could see make Ray finally snap and say, "You want me at WrestleMania? You're on." So we'll wait and see what happens. So nothing more to say.
I would probably say if they do it, I say Ray gets jumped, but then I would say that the match would probably happen on night 2.
I definitely could see that.
I would say that would be one of the mid-card fights on night 2 of WrestleMania.
And hence why you have Dom attack Ray during his induction.
Yeah.
So that's all there is to say on that. It was the segment of the night, no question about it. Very well done, and Dominic, acting like the neglected, like a neglected son, and calling out his dad and the whole nine, but it was what it was. So not much more to say on that. Then we had Seth frickin' Rollins squaring off against Baron Corbin. Seth frickin' Rollins wins the match, 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Obviously, the match was a dud. We're not gonna beat around the bush on that. I mean, which was disappointing because these two have had some good matches before, so it was a little disappointing to see them reduced to having a bout that was shorter than most of the video packages we've seen on the show. But there is one thing though, guys. Did we have fun with Seth frickin' Rollins' entrance last night? Oh, I'll say it like this: his entrance is the best in professional wrestling today. I mean, you can rank Cody right there with him, but there's just something about Seth frickin' Rollins' entrance nowadays. Especially with the whoa, oh yeah, and how much fun we were having with that. Bullock and I did the Seth Rollins laugh that we usually do when we see Seth Rollins during our Raw chats, and oh my goodness, we had so much fun with that entrance. And I'll say it like this: out of all the entrances last night, I think that was the best one.
Agreed.
When the crowd sings along with his theme song and the whole nine. Now, MF, you stepped away. You had stepped away for a moment, but I'm sure you heard it though. We saw you coming back, but were you able to take in the entrance?
I was able to take it in. I heard it. Yeah, I had to use the facility, so
Yep.
I was trying to get back, and yeah, and it was. You could hear it from the crowd. Like when you heard the burn it down and that explosion goes off,
Oh.
Like I timed it too, so I knew it too. I heard the burn it down. I was like, wait for it, boom! I was like, yep, there he is. But the crowd, but then yeah, the crowd was excited. It was electric, and we felt it. We felt it. It was amazing. So no doubt about it. Seth Rollins has indeed the best entrance in WWE today. There's no doubt about it. The character is colorful enough. His character is so amazing, man. Because yeah, I know he's been known as a heel a lot, but now just because of the crowd reaction and everything else, it's almost impossible to turn him back heel. He's too hot as a baby face. I just don't see how you can pull it. So I don't know. But without a doubt, he's one of the most over guys on Monday Night Raw. No doubt about it.
He's, no pun intended, ridiculously over.
Yeah, he is.
Just like Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes. So, but that entrance, though, oh my goodness, we had so much fun with that entrance, and not just us, but everybody else there.
Oh yeah.
And unfortunately, like I said, I'm not the best when it comes to photography and videos and all that, but it's because I messed up on the entrances of Edge, Brock Lesnar, and Cody Rhodes, but I at least got this entrance, and oh man, I mean, you have to see it to believe it. I mean, it was just so much fun, and that was what we were waiting for. We had a feeling we were going to get to be a part of that, and I don't like how they got there. It set up a dud match with a dud talent, and that's all there is to say on that. But of course, obviously, it gives Seth Rollins momentum heading into his match at WrestleMania against Logan Paul. And speaking of Logan Paul will be in St. Louis next Monday night on Raw to do a special live edition of his Impulsive podcasts. So, yeah, good thing you're doing that in screwy St. Louis there, Logan Paul, because we the people of Providence, we would have booed you out of the freaking building if you had even thought about showing up, buddy boy.
Yeah.
You thought Boston was bad? You thought Boston was bad? We would have been a lot worse.
Dude, I'll say this. Austin Theory may have Dominic had, you were talking about the top 3 in the Bluebirds. Without a doubt, Dominic was number 1. Theory was number 2. Without a doubt, if Paul would have been there, oh my God.
He would have been done.
Yeah.
In the immortal words of Salute Your Shorts, he would have been roasted, toasted, and burnt to a crisp. Trust me, he would have. But hands down, that Seth Rollins entrance, it's a sight to see, and it's wow. I can't wait till we get that opportunity to do it again. So whenever they come back, because they usually come around twice a year at least, and I'm hopeful that, and I know they'll be back again, and I can't wait till that happens, and hopefully he'll be there. So, all right, Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair in a non-title match against Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green had Carmella in her corner, but it didn't matter. Bianca Belair won the match in roughly 8 minutes, an even 8 minutes, and then after the match, Chelsea and Carmella, attacked Bianca, but then Asuka showed up and Asuka chased them away, and we finally got the first real tension between Asuka and Bianca. But I'll say it like this: these two had a few good spots, but it was a relatively uneventful match with another predictable outcome. That was the theme of the night last night. Belair getting another win is never a bad thing, but Chelsea Green needs to start getting some wins, and that was just going to set her back. And what happened last night just set her back a bit more. Asuka saved Belair from a beating after the bout was over. She had a bit of fun with the Raw Women's Championship belt before handing it back to the champ. I will say this: Chelsea Green and Carmella should definitely be used in the women's tag team division. They make a good team. And the way Carmella fell off the apron did not look great. And, those shoes she had on seemed to make her unsure of her footing. So that's all there is to say on that. But I'll give this about maybe 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star for the effort. So predictable outcome. We all knew Bianca was going to win. But MF last night, another case where the post match was better than the match. Well, where the post match was
Post
just
match
as
was
good.
better than the actual match itself. You were absolutely right.
I was right. Okay.
You were right. No.
Asuka and Bianca. Asuka. We finally got to see the first real tension between Asuka and Bianca. Asuka took the belt, had some fun with the belt, but then she also teased that mist. Ooh.
And that's the moment that you started to notice the look in the eye on that you started to notice the look in the eye when it came to Bianca Belair. Like, all right, this is a legit threat now, because that was the thing that we were waiting for, was what was going to be the moment, what was going to trigger this, what was going to start this and set it off. And sure enough, it was that look in Asuka's face where she started to smile, and you started to notice that green, that it looked like a bluish green mist coming out of her mouth, and you almost started thinking, uh-oh, what on earth is this? And sure enough, it was exactly what it needed it to be. Exactly what it ought to have been. And that was a great storyline, to say the very least. And it set it up something really, really epic. Yeah, the fight itself was 2 stars, but what we got after is the biggest payoff. Is that, like you said, it's starting to set us up for WrestleMania, and oh boy, we got the makings of it possibly being a great match. Nothing more to say. So, yeah, it's yours, Bullock.
Yeah, 2.5 stars for me. This was a fine match. It wasn't anything all that special, but yeah, now you're really starting to see the seeds planted. Asuka basically getting into the head of Bianca Belair and showing that she is a legitimate threat to the Raw Women's title. And of course, now next week, Bianca and Asuka have to team up against Carmella and Chelsea Green. So, how are those two going to get along come next week? So, we'll see what happens. So, nothing more to say. It is yours, Florio.
And before we get to the main event, the following matches and segments were announced for next Monday night's Raw at the Scottrade Center in St. Louis, Missouri. As Bullock just mentioned, the aforementioned women's tag team match, Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair and her WrestleMania challenger, Asuka. How are they going to get along and coexist when they square off against Chelsea Green and Carmella? We also know Logan Paul will be hosting his Impulsive podcast. United States Heavyweight Champion Austin Theory will go one-on-one with the other half of the Street Profits, Montez Ford, in what should be a fun non-title match. And on top of that, how I wish we could have had him last night, but unfortunately we did not get him last night. But St. Louis, oh, screwy St. Louis, you're lucky, because next week they're getting the tribal chief. They're getting the undisputed Universal Champion, Roman Reigns. Oh, what we would have given to have seen him last night. But hey, at least we got to see him at WrestleMania Backlash with the Bloodline, so at least we have that. So, all right, main event time. And speaking of the Bloodline, it was the enforcer of the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, squaring off against Kevin Owens in a street fight. Solo Sikoa wins the match, 11 minutes and 40 seconds. And MF, he didn't do it alone. He had plenty of help from his brothers, the Usos, the tag team champions. And he also did it with your new favorite move, that amniotic spike in homage to Umaga.
Yeah, and this was wild, man. Fight of the night. Definitely a great matchup. You could say about 3.5 to 4. And yeah, it had everything it needed it to be. Great action, great fight, great battle. Could have gone one way, could have gone another way. And it just was one of those battles where you just was like, oh my God. Um,
And one spot in particular, where Solo Sikoa slammed Kevin Owens off the top rope through that pile of chairs. Oh, did we have fun with that?
yeah. Owens. Well, the thing was, if you remember what led to it before anything, the fans got a little bloodthirsty in Providence, demanding for a table, asking for a table. Well, Owens brought it out, and we were about to get that table spot, and then Solo got the advantage, got ahead of it, grabbed the table, and was like, you know what? Nah, screw you, Providence. You ain't getting crap. I'm throwing the table right back into the right back under the ring. Obviously, heat for Solo. And then Owens like, all right. So he starts bringing out a pile of chairs, and the next thing you know, sets him up. And I'm like, what? Wait a minute, what's this? Superplex off the chair? No. So, and it ended up where, yeah, it was Owens that ended up eating the chairs over Solo. And me as the heel commentator is like, well, you did it to yourself, Owens. And yeah, then I remember when the Usos came out. You heard the reaction from the Usos. Absolute insanity. Fans were asking for Sami. Fans were asking for Cody. Remember what Owens said earlier in the night. I don't want your help. I don't need your help. I can do this on my own. Well, Owens, I think he's going to regret that decision right now. I think he definitely regrets that decision right now because deep down, I think he's thinking, I'm going to need help now. And I know he wanted to do this on his own, but I think now is the moment I think he realizes strength in numbers. So I would not be surprised if not this week, if not on Friday on SmackDown, but I do believe possibly next week in St. Louis is where we're probably going to get that thing because the Usos got involved now. Now Owens is going to be backed into that corner for something else. So we'll see. But yeah, this was a great main event. Fight of the night for me. 3.5 to damn near 4. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, 3.5 to 4. I mean, fight of the night, hands down. I mean, obviously the Usos definitely played a major role in it, and yeah, because remember earlier in the night, Kevin Owens said he doesn't want any help from Sami. He's made it perfectly clear, and he doesn't want help from Cody Rhodes because he wants Cody Rhodes to focus on the tribal chief, and that he doesn't want himself to be the reason why Cody Rhodes doesn't walk out of WrestleMania as the undisputed Universal Champion. And now, after this setback, you wonder if this is where Owens going to finally start to realize maybe he does need the help. Maybe he does need Sami Zayn. And this is where we'll finally get the payoff where Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn would challenge the Usos for the undisputed tag team titles. And where I also believe that the reign of the Usos will end as well as the tribal chief's reign. So yeah, there's really nothing more for me to say. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah, 3.5 to 4. Fight of the night. That one spot where we lost our minds. Where Solo grabbed KO and slammed him off the top rope and into a pile of chairs. Oh man, did we we freak out on that in a good way, that is. But you had a feeling something was going to happen there with the Usos there. As hard hitting as you would expect it to be, just from looking at the competitors, KO and Solo both rely on brawling for a lot of their offense, so they meshed well together as opponents. As expected, the Usos ended up interfering, so their younger brother would pick up the win. The bout was fun, but the outcome was too easy to see coming. A more shocking result would have been Solo winning clean. Even with the interference, this is still the biggest win Solo Sikoa has had since he joined the main roster. And the way Solo sold having his head slammed into the announce table was hilarious. Solo has a beautiful Samoan drop. And as MF mentioned, if there's one thing the WWE Universe loves, it's tables. And those "we want table" chants. And yeah, we had that and then some last night. So 3.5 to 4, our fight of the night, no question about it. So with that, let's get into our overall thoughts. And Michael Bullock, from your perspective inside the arena, how your overall thoughts on what was another very good and solid edition of Monday Night Raw in Providence that we took in last night?
I'm going to say 7.5 to maybe teetering on 8, but I mean leaning more towards 7.5. That's what I say. I mean, you did have some matches that were pretty much bleh, but the promos and some of the other matches that we had were solid to good to even great. So, yeah, I mean, it was just an unbelievable night at the Amp. I certainly enjoyed it. I mean, Providence always seems to bring it whenever WWE comes to Providence, and this was another prime example of it. So 7.5 for me. It is yours, Wario.
7.5 for me as well. I mean, we had some good matches. The street fight was the fight of the night. Surprisingly great tag team match with Gargano and Lumis against Dominic and Damian Priest. The Dominic Ray segment was the segment of the night. Close second was Edge and Finn Balor. We did have some meh moments. We had 2 dud fights. But other than that, another very good Raw from Providence. We got a big WrestleMania announcement of Edge and Finn Balor inside Hell in a Cell. We almost got Dom and Ray. That would have put it over the top, but, it was what it was. It's always fun when WWE comes here, and the three of us, a bucket list moment for all of us. Before the show, we got to point to the WrestleMania sign. I mean, that's something I'm going to cherish for the rest of my life, and definitely a bucket list moment for me, and I'm sure it was for MF and Bullock as well when they got to do it. So just seeing that thing, it's only the 3rd time that we've gotten it here. WrestleMania 21, it was on February 28th of 2005, and the other January 31st of 2011, the night after the Royal Rumble, when they had the WrestleMania 27 sign, and Bullock got to see that because Bullock was at that show in 2011. But it was the first time that MF and I got to see the WrestleMania sign up close and personal. So it's a sight to see, let me tell you that. So St. Louis and Phoenix, when it comes to Raw, drink that in, because you got the final, because we only have 2 Raws left with the WrestleMania sign before it goes away, and we have to wait until next year when we're on the road to WrestleMania 40, when that comes to Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. So, but anyways, another very good show. The ending was a little disappointing because we were expecting to have something happen. Maybe Cody showed up, maybe even Sammy showed up. We were hoping maybe for the reunion of KO and Sammy, but not here. But it's coming. Don't worry. This is all part of Papa H's long-term booking and storytelling. So the payoff's coming. If not this week, then it has to be next week, because we'll be within 2 weeks. So you got to pull the trigger soon enough. But other than that, great show, great atmosphere, and always fun when they come here. And I can't wait to do it again the next time they're here, provided that it's on a date that's good enough for all of us and doesn't interfere with our commitments. So 7.5, teetering on 8. MF, take this part of it home, and then I'll do my Tony's take.
Yeah, this was a 7.5 show. I thought they did a really good job with it, and Yeah, I think we can say we had a great time. We enjoyed every minute of it. So yeah, nothing more to add. Anthony, Tony's take is yours, man.
Okay. Of course, you know how we do it here on the Tony's Take. As always, we got Impact Wrestling, we got NXT Level Up, and I just need to just quickly get set up here when it comes to it. But I just want to have just want to be able to set the table for the next show. All right, that's good. So all right. Whoop. Okay. All right. So let's dive right on in to Impact Wrestling as we continue on the road to the No Surrender event, and from the Sam's Town Live in Las Vegas, Nevada. We started it out with an in-ring segment. Bully Ray cutting a promo, interrupted by Bhupinder Gujar, and then Santina Marella makes the match. Bhupinder Gujar against Bully Ray. Um, Bhupinder Gujar wins the match via disqualification, 3 minutes and 31 seconds. NA for this. Gujar was looking like he could be something, but now he's cannon fodder and the star-making feud between Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer. I mean, it was hardly a high-energy match. It was much more about Bully trying to get out of having the actual match. Nothing to see here, but thank goodness Ray got his time in. Then we had Sami Callihan against Rhino. Rhino wins the match, 10 minutes and 11 seconds, 3 stars. As good as 10-minute Rhino Callihan match was going to be, as there is only so much the two of them are going to pull off. Rhino is still able to have a watchable enough match, and it is nice to see him get a win here. At the same time, the Callahan and Design stuff is still awful, and it needs to wrap up soon. It won't, but it needs to. Then we had Jordan Grace against Alex Gracia. Jordan Grace in 226. No, just a showcase for Jordan, that's all. MF special here. Jonathan Gresham squaring off against Kushida. Kushida wins the match, 10 minutes and 4 seconds. 3 1/4, 3.5 stars. This was the technical match that you knew it would be, and it made Kushida look that much better because he beat someone on his level. Both of them are established names, but Kushida is on his way to that Impact World Title match with Josh Alexander at the Multiverse United special in a couple weeks. So he needed the win here. Good match and different from everything else on the show. And then a lot of segments here. Taylor Wilde and Kylan King are now a new tag team called the Coven, and I got a big match coming up for them as part of the next show. Eddie Edwards and PCO, they battled it out in the grave. Ooh. And then we had in the main event, Mickie James defending the Knockouts Championship against Giselle Shaw. Mickie James wins the match in an even 17 minutes. This was the fight of the night, 3.5 to 3 3/4. Match got a lot of time, and the ending seems to bring Deonna Purrazzo either into the title picture or in line for a showdown with Shaw, or maybe both. For now, though, they had a good match with Shaw holding up her end and Mickie being her usual awesome self. It felt like a big-time main event, and that's a hard trick to pull off a lot of the time. 7 out of 10. The show got better as it went on, but there were some rocky moments. There were some parts here that were not very good and give us no reason to want to see what happens in them for week to week. Stuff such as the Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer and Design and Callahan stuff. Just there with few positives to either of them, and it hurts to watch them. Then on the other hand, you have the surprisingly solid Knockouts division and the main event feuds, though. A lot of that seems to be on hold until we get closer to the build to the Rebellion pay-per-view next month. For now, though, the bad stuff gets bailed out and the positives are quite positive. So that's a 7 out of 10. This Thursday night on Impact Wrestling, 6-man tag team match. Kenta, Chris Bay, and Ace Austin against World Heavyweight Champion Josh Alexander, Rich Swann, and Frankie Kazarian, 6-man tag. And then Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary will defend the Knockouts Tag Team Championship against Kylan King and Taylor Wilde of the Coven. Jonathan Gresham and Speedball Mike Bailey will team up against Decay's Crazy Steve and Black Taurus. And Steve Macklin goes one-on-one with Heath Slater. So that all goes down this Thursday night on Impact Wrestling, 8 p.m., Access TV, along with 8:30 over on the YouTube Ultimate Insiders, and then 10 p.m. it gets uploaded to Impact Plus immediately following the show. So let's move on to Level Up. Indy Hartwell squaring off against Jakara Jackson. Indy Hartwell in 5 minutes and 15 seconds wins the match. It was all right. It was a little slow, which made it seem more than 5 minutes, but the crowd enjoyed it, and Indy deserved to win here. 1.25 stars. Quincy Elliott against Scripps. Scripps wins the match, 5 minutes and 5 seconds. Scripps is improving from his Reggie days, but outside of that, I wasn't really feeling this one. 1 star. And then Von Wagner against Odyssey Jones. Odyssey Jones wins the match, 5.5 minutes. By default, the fight of the night. Solid Hoss fight. No real complaints here. 2 stars. 5 out of 10. Even on the sliding Level Up scale, it was a down show. The main event was all right, and the rest was just kind of there. But it is still an easy 30-minute watch. I will say that. So with that will put the bow on this special Tuesday night edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. As always, we'll be back with you tomorrow night, 10:30 over on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95, for another edition of Wednesday Night Madness, as we will review NXT and AEW Dynamite as always. And then Thursday night at 10:30, TXN Sports World, NFL free agency, NFL free agent frenzy. So many moves have gone down. We will address it. We'll start the show with that. Several big name moves have gone down. We'll address the notable ones, of course. We will also preview Week 5 of the XFL, and then in the main event, it will be our coverage of the NCAA tournament. We'll recap. We'll do some. We'll share some results from earlier in the day, and if all goes well, and if it's warranted, we might get some bonus commentary in. So that'll be on Thursday, and then Friday night, 11 p.m. MF has it. Brace Fan 95, Cerebral Smack Talk, Friday Night SmackDown, AEW Rampage, and that's it. So and then next Monday night we'll be back at our normal time, immediately following Monday Night Raw for Ridiculously Raw, right back in our traditional time slot. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for Wednesday Night Madness over on the MF channel, Brace Fan 95, it's Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher. And in spirit, the phenom Michael Bullock. And of course, always and forever, the first lady of this show, the Twisted Angel Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune Force style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Wednesday. And until tomorrow night for Wednesday Night Madness, you've been watching this special Tuesday night edition of Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tries to tell you beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.